Damn it!
So Rob, I know a lot of people do the De La Riva guard with the gi, especially when you start pulling out lapels and passing them through legs and grabbing belts. Yeah. But a lot of people have concerns about using a De La Riva in no gi, where leg locks are allowed, because your legs are out there dangling all over the place.
Yeah.
And there are a couple high percentage and some low percentage attacks.
Yeah.
So how do you, if you're playing no gi De La Riva, how do you defend against those semi-inevitable leg lock attacks?
Sure. I mean, the easy answer is always proper alignment, right? We've referred to base posture structure, frames and levers, alignment stuff in the past.
BJJformula.com.
There you go.
BJJ Formula on Grappler.
Exactly. And so like the answer to a lot of techniques is proper alignment, because I shouldn't say most, but like we can have an argument about the percentages, because certainly, some low percentage moves are occasionally hit at the higher level. But for the most part, I'd say a large majority of techniques that people are doing between white belt and purple belt are not particularly effective, not because the technique isn't effective, but because they're doing it on people who have broken alignment. So, like if you're in my guard and you just stick your arm out and I armbar you, I can do a really sloppy version of that armbar and still be successful. So I would say that most of the leg attacks that people succeed with against the De La Riva guard tend to be, you've got a bit of a sloppy De La Riva guard, you've been training mostly in the gi, and nobody tries to leg lock you until brown belt with any skill, and so you're just asleep at the switch on those.
Well, let's just go over the most common leg lock attacks that we're going to run into.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, there's some weird ass stuff like this, which never ever works.
Exactly.
Now somebody's going to come and do it.
Yeah.
Most common is when I think this is deep,
and then back step,
either to a knee bar
or the 411,
or transfer to a 411.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly a rolling
toe hold would be another example of that. So
we're here,
you're
dangling,
grip, rolling through, trapping my other leg. Exactly. You can drop into a standard ashi, like by pulling my heel up here. Exactly, just placing the foot on the hip. There you go. And you can go to either side on that one, kind of depending on your preference.
Okay.
That's actually a very legitimate threat that needs to be respected.
Okay, so then what would be your responses to those common attacks?
Sure. Let's start with the back step.
Okay.
Because that's the one that kind of like, the one with the foot on the hip, that's kind of easy to avoid. This one, you're going to have to deal with it. The way, let's just start, like working backwards from the way I avoid this is I basically don't put my foot here in no gi.
So are we the toe hold or the ankle?
Well, either one, right? So the attacks to this leg are easy to avoid simply by placing your foot on the mat, behind the knee, or in what we call the DMX position. So any one of those, like you're not going to make it. You're not going to get to that foot. So, and that's the major difference aside from the lack of grips that you see when you play the De La Riva guard in no gi versus in the gi. In the gi, because I can afford to make this sleeve grip, I can camp out here, and there's not a ton you can do about it in the moment without.
I'm in this stretched out position and not worried about not face planting.
Right. Whereas in no gi, if I try to camp out here, I'm dealing with foot locks or I'm dealing with leg drags, all that kind of stuff. So it's just not super advisable to keep this foot here. Keep it behind the knee, keep it on the ground for base to help you tilt people, or lock into here.
Okay.
But the movement you always have to respect is at some point, if you're trying to move to this, someone's gonna backstep and they're gonna land in the knee bar, exactly, or the 411. So let's start with that.
Right.
The first thing is the awareness of your, again, structure. So my knee-elbow connection, which creates proper structure, is what I'm looking for. If I'm kind of lazy and hanging out here and there's a huge space between my knee and my, like this is bad. If I'm feeding you that technique, right? And I've seen guys when they first transition from gi to no gi, they're like, oh man, I'm gonna kill him, and they just get knee barred over and over again.
Right.
So whether I'm trying to use this like deep De La Riva attack or not, I just need to be aware of the space between my shoulder and my armpit. So if I'm playing the no gi De La Riva, I'm playing it with my knee towards here.
Because fundamentally, I have to get into this space with my ass.
So even if you were to like backstep and get over top of my knee, if my shoulder's in here, I can always extract my knee back out.
Right.
Right? And then the other thing is just bringing my knee back to my shoulder. So if at any point this happens and I feel you backstepping, just close your knee back. I know that some of these things are just like really logical and simple, but anytime I'm starting to do this and I feel your hip over twisting, I'm going to be bringing my other knee in. Okay. So one of the main things to recognize in attacking this position is if I do happen to, like, let's say I briefly step on your thigh or I do something and I get to a deep De La Riva hook, I know you're going to be backstepping. So as you start to backstep, I simply bring this knee in. And now I'm catching both of your legs and moving you into a leg drag. So I'm actually, and not that I want to try to give people too much insight into my personal game, but I want you to try to backstep when I'm playing the no-gi de la Riva guard.
I've also, you used a shin to block my movement. I've also put my other instep in there and sort of taken the back. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So if I'm here
Yeah.
and I'm backstepping.
Yeah, you're talking about this motion. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing, controlling the hip, controlling the lever, kicking the guy out, taking the back.
Okay.
Yeah, both of those are legit options.
Are there, let's give people something in case I'm going for that rolling toe hold.
Yeah,
In case,
absolutely.
So I'm going for that heel hook. You screwed up, or I
for sure. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, the toe hold one is a lot easier to deal with because as you start to roll, if I just keep this knee control, I'm basically moving you into the berimbolo. So I just keep climbing up, and then I take your back.
So when you say knee control, what do you mean? Because it actually disrupted my grip.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking at it.
Yeah, so let's try to go through this as slowly as we can. The movement I was talking about is as you start to roll, that.
I see.
So I'm internally rotating my hip and projecting my shin into the bend of your knee, which is breaking your alignment, and it's allowing me to climb to, yeah. I mean, this is honestly why it's the biggest fool's errand in the world to try to toe hold a meow brother. Like if somebody,
Well, first he's not going to tap.
first of all, there's that, but just from a, aside from a joint preservation aspect, from a like technical, alignment, proper movement based aspect, you're taking yourself out of base, you're rolling with very limited control of your partner against a guy whose entire specialty is using your legs as levers to climb onto your back.
What about the old standing toe hold, which you see sometimes, and I think it showed up in a meow match too,
Yeah.
where I don't go down, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, so I mean, then you're just going to be rolling out. You have to be able to invert.
So you're following the force.
You're following the force, yeah.
So I'm
as
essentially trying to.
You're starting to rotate me, so I'm rotating through and just maintaining control of this leg as I go so we don't end up in a leg drag position.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, I love Ashi. I'm going to heel hook this foot.
Yeah.
I pop this foot past my heel, and I'm
Yeah.
either going to go to this heel,
Absolutely.
to this side, or this side.
Let's go to this side for now. As you drop, I'm going to try to gas pedal you with the inside de la Riva hook.
Okay.
Gas pedal to your crotch.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
No. Alternately, as someone pulls up, we just pummel our leg in.
Okay.
Right? So depending on your relative length, like if you're tall and I'm short, that gas pedal thing, not the best idea because I may not have enough range of motion.
Right.
Whereas as soon as you lift up, you have to derive base from this foot. So it's not like you can get rid of this space. You're going to be planted strong with both feet. So that's kind of like, I think, the best response because I think that covers every sort of potential. Yeah, so as you lift, I'm pummeling in.
Okay.
So now as you try to drop into Ashi, like it's just, yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, let me do it.
Yeah, like I'm going to extract and then I'm going to re-entangle your legs.
Right.
So quickly disengaging and repummeling, I think, is the best solution for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that'll give people some good material to preserve their joints when they're playing de la Riva.
Yeah, and just quickly as far as like the toe hold, like pursuing the berimbolo, make sure you actually know how to berimbolo before you, oh, this isn't supposed to work, Rob said, oh, crack, okay, yes,
Slow motion.
Don't come after me.
Yeah.
Learn the motion first, understand your own flexibility because, for instance, people who are severely inflexible here, they may not have the ability to withstand the pressure on their foot while they're trying to berimbolo, in which case, just roll through. I don't have to take your back. If you roll and I roll, I should be okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
No worries, my pleasure.